video of the most important hot discussion right now, and from about which we are receiving a lot of questions and ignited the education from the students, that what is the scope in architecture, or so we are going to do architecture, but what after 5 years? Is it really this is the most important question from the parents as well, because yeah, definitely they are worried about their future career, or how their son, daughter, or their both are going to live their future. This is the general concern of everyone. So this is what, or this is where we are welcoming all of you to check out the scopes in architecture, how we can grow, how we can grow together, how we can develop the things. So first of all, while going into the discussion, I just would like to start with this, that architecture as a career is much diverse than any other careers. You can tell that engineering, medical, it is having a kind of diversity of its own. Okay, so why I am telling you this, or what is the reason I am telling you this? I must say you that while going for architecture, people just ask that, okay, what are we going to get from architecture? But to be very frank, they never ask, or they never tell that, okay, what are we gonna give? Are we really passionate about architecture or not? Because this is a kind of course where you really don't get any books to study. It is all dependent on you, that what are you going to do and how are you going to grow and develop. Okay, so the thing about architecture is this, that first of all, you need to know, or you need to ask yourself that, okay, am I gonna do it really for the next 5 years? It's a long-term course. Okay, now the thing is that while you are into architecture, the fact which comes, or the thing which you want to know about, or you want to think about, is what am I going to get after 5 years? Okay, now that all depends upon you, that how you are going to grow. But before that, let me just tell you that how, what architecture is and how architecture goes. Okay, so this is an architecture analysis of how we are going through it and all. So architecture colleges in India, when we look for, there are 864 colleges, and these are the details, few details about that. I will just straight away go to the today's point of discussion, that is about the placements. So see, placement in architecture works like this, that employed with constructional firms or any other firms of the public or private sectors. This is one way you can get yourself placed. Okay. Now, other than that, the demand of professionals in this field of architecture is there. It is easily possible to get jobs almost immediately. Now, why? I will tell you just a very simple example. Today, you are having a kind of plot of land or a vacant space below your house. You want to give a, open up a side business of yours, which will just earn you something. Okay. You might thought of, okay, let me give it for a cafeteria. My house is nearby to a place, or a roads and all. So you can just utilize that space. Now, for utilizing that, you need a person to design it, to develop it in that way. Okay. So that is where you need an architect, and where you need to reach people. Now, the question is here, why people will reach you? Why people will reach me, not the other person? That's where it is you. So, this thing is all about you. And this is not there in any other career, because mostly you join a corporate firm and you start working. Okay. So this is always there in a design firm, that what, why people will reach me? What am I better, best at, or what can I give extra? That is where you need to think, and you need to grow yourself slowly and gradually, upgrading your designs, and what kind of thing people, what is their demands, because they will reach you with the interest of theirs. You need to fulfill that. And the most important thing at that part is they will have a estimate, like their costs. So you need to fulfill that part as well. These are the two things you need to look at. So if you can develop these two things, or how to get these two parts of your client, you can really develop. On the salary packages of these firms which they were talking about, that joining a construction firm directly rather than going of your own, you are joining a firm and working for someone else, will also be high. The maintenance mainly determined by the experience of each person. So any of the firms you join, while you join, they will ask you for your experience. So there is a principal architect, there is an executive architect, chief architect, there are several places of or posts and positions. So the thing is, your salary depends on your experience, 5 year, 2 year, 10 year. Okay, so how that, what sort of experience you are having, depending on that, people will tell you that, okay, or people will come to you. Now, job prospects are also available for aspirants abroad too. And that is where the catch lies, that if you can go abroad, then I will really tell that, yeah, there are lots of scopes, mainly in like, these areas of like, the growing places like Dubai and all, where you get really like, lots of scopes in the, like, what should I tell, in these places, in the Arabian countries and all, where you have a lot of scopes of the construction works going on. Okay. Now, do not wish to go for a job immediately. Yeah, many do have, they want to do their masters, like, management and construction technology, for, or else you want to go for something like a particular, like, you're taking a specialization of architecture, so you can go for that as well. And after that, with more qualification and well experience, obviously it is possible to get one of the very good jobs with high profiles, in addition to their ability to command their own salary. Now that is the position. When you arrive, you can demand for your salary, you can ask someone for your salary, the, like, salary in these terms, that people will come to you, your client has came and they are asking that, okay, I need to design a residence of this space, or this is the space. So you can now demand that, okay, like, so this is the things, these are the things requirements, this is the estimate of the cost that we are going to do, and this is my charges that I am going to take. So this is my service charges, or this is my, like, you have to pay me, this is my charges. That is the place. So that depends on your experience. So it is always about, you need a client or the client needs you. Need to understand this very logic. Okay, I will tell it under a quote. You need to always understand throughout your life. Remember this, like, quotes. You need a client or the client needs you. At that point depends your salary. If you need the person, okay, then they are having an option to, like, command you. You do my work, I will pay you this. Beyond this, I can't pay. And your hands are bound. Okay, no, I have to get that money, so I will have to work for them. And at the another position, when you are having an experience, you have grown, then you are able to command yourself, like, the other person. That other person, if they're okay, no, this is he's a very good designer, like, we know him, or he really does the things well. So if I do this, then I will do it like, I will make the thing done by him only. So that time, he is reaching you, and now you are in a position to demand. I have a lot of clients. If this is not the one, the other person will come, but I will not go below this, depending on the criteria that, yeah, the person can obviously pay, then why should I? Okay, so that is how it lies. People ask me, or parents ask me, that the future of architecture. So, I have just made a kind of analysis over here. The architects of the future can no longer hide to remain behind the design desks. It is now the most important is that the architects take up the responsibility of making our cities more smart and sustainable. Now, what do I mean by that? When a smart city or a sustainable city? See, when we live in a place where when we are going for an option, or when we are looking out for something, the main thing is we always aspire to stay in a place where, like, places like Bangalore, they have really developed with the very common thing known as Yulu, wherein you get a bike, you can just scan it with your phone, and you can travel to a place. The design of where it will be kept, these things are done. So these things also need an architect to make it in a planned manner. Now, obviously, you cannot expect it like some Western countries, but yeah, still India is developing. Now, this development which is there in India, and this, according to the foreign direct investment which is going to happen in real estate, is going to attract a huge amount of foreign companies. According to a real estate analyst, a total of $1 trillion is going to be invested in India by 2030. So you can, like, imagine what is the investment going to happen. Now, this is going to impact not only architects, but most of the people related with this constructional firms, or with the development in constructions. So that is where you also lie as a person. You are, like, right now being a student, you will be at that point of time in 2030, you will be having almost an experience of 4 or 5 years as a bachelor's architect. So you can, like, get that thing, that okay, where you will be lying if you really give effort to this place. Now, just an example, to be very frank, the past, present, and future, how the thing places life is the place in Delhi, which was the past, it's the future, present, and it's the future. So construction and these works are always developing. We cannot ignore that. Okay, like, it's developing, and, like, it's growing rapidly. Today we have this. Today you are living in an apartment. Tomorrow you want that, okay, I will have a more luxurious apartment. So that is where it lies, and that is where we all are opting for, or we all want for. So at that place, people definitely need a person for these constructions, and in the upcoming future, It's my belief, or this is how it's going to be, that there will be several that architects will be a necessary requirement for any of the constructions going on, because nowadays we have seen most of the residents, they are designed by civil engineers only, just making things out of cubes and all, but that is not going to happen in the upcoming near future. This is all about how the scope lies. Now, let me tell you what you are giving. Are you just the best student in your class and just listening to lectures, writing on pen and paper, submitting your portfolios, and that's done? Then you might be a good student in your class, but you not might perform as well as in the practical life. Because practical life, you need to deal with client. You need to be clever enough to understand the knowledge of how to deal with the material, how to deal with contractors, how to deal with those vendors, where you get the materials. If you are designing a cafeteria and someone is asking you for a wooden flooring, you need to know from which vendor you are going to get that, what percentage of the the CP, which cost price which you are buying it from the vendor, what percentage you should add on to that to make your profit, and how you should ask the contractors to work on it. Now you'll have to deal your client, explain them, design it. That is totally different from what you learn in college, and that is something relevant you can understand in your internships which you do, and that is the main part I do feel. Okay, so this is where you investing a lot of time in your college itself, or you giving an importance to the practicality of life and understanding the things and growing yourself. That's what you are going to earn and how you are going to develop. It's always a bilateral income in architecture, most importantly, just for your information, I'm telling you. Anyways, don't focus on this much. You can work as a professor, you can go for a teaching profession. On the other hand side, you can run some other projects. And that is done by almost each of the professors in the field. Okay, almost everyone in the in the college who is your faculty, they all are the architects, and they all are either working for some firm, or they are all are doing freelancing, or they are all are running their own separate office, wherein they are doing several projects, like around 10-15 projects in a whole year. So that is how you this thing goes on, and there is no retirement, there is no certain level of income that okay, this is my increment, this is my company. Now tomorrow if I switch it, this is the level of earning that I am going to get. It always exponential, it's always depends on you how you are going to grow. So that's all for the day, guys, and this was all in short. I today thought of keeping it very short so that it is easy for all to go through the whole video and understand the aspect of how it goes. I hope I was very clear in this. If you guys are having any doubts, you can write it down in the comment section now. We'll just try to answer that, and followed by that, we'll end the session. Make sure if you're new to the channel, subscribe it, like the video if you have got some valid input from it. And lastly, most important, share the video with all your friends, because that's what makes the difference, and let all the other people also know what they are searching for and grow the knowledge. Okay. So I'll just check on my phone for all your comments if you guys are having any thing. Okay, till now there is nothing. I just writing a hi to all of you. Okay, architecture business. Okay, sir. Okay, Rahul have asked about architecture.